Good evening, morning, afternoon. I suppose it depends on when you watch this. So, I still haven't decided if I'm going to do the full extra long version that doesn't even fit in the camera or if I'm going to break it into two. I could go 50-50. I'm either way. So, here's what we're going to do. Last week we did the chapter on mental health and other people. I have a few side notes on that. And then next, this one that may or may not be two parts is going to be on non-EDCs. This is the stuff that is really important that you would grab in an emergency situation, but not necessarily just restricted to your bug out bag. Also, we should talk about masks. Since we were talking about other people, that's a good segue because the masks do more than you may think that they do or that you give them credit. So, first things first. Don't trust anyone. Period. Just don't do it. You don't. Everyone should be able to expect a base amount of respect from the other people that they interact with. This is something all of our mothers taught us. Be civilized. That doesn't mean just because you're being polite and friendly that you have to trust the person you're talking to. In an ideal society, back when the old school reigned supreme, there is a reason that the old school survived for so long, boys and girls. It's just food for thought. None of the other mentalities did this. The old school managed to hold on to its ways forever. And we're not dead yet. Moving on. Because that's not the point. Don't trust anyone. You have to assume that everyone is out for themselves because these days they are. Not everyone, but you're not going to know that on first sight. People are like books. That's an old tired book by its cover. There's a lot of truth to that. You cannot look at someone and see what they're wearing and how they stand and know that person. You can't. Just like they can't know you. Just like other people who interact with you don't know who they're dealing with. Neither do you. So just don't trust them. Make them earn it. If you feel like you want to make an investment in another person, make them earn it. Don't tell them you're testing them. I'm not saying you have to test them, but that's a real quick way. Let's say you had an apartment and you left a crumpled up $10 bill somewhere that it probably shouldn't be, and then you excuse yourself to go to the store. And can you hold the fort down while I'm gone? I'll be right back. And then you come back and you never look in that direction. You never look where the 20 was. And you finish hanging out. And then you say goodbye to them, tell them you hope you have a nice day. And then you go find out if that person's a real friend, if they're honest, or if it cost you $10 to realize that that's not someone you should trust. It's not petty. It's necessary these days because you can't trust anyone. You can trust some people, but they have to earn it. And conversely, you have to earn their trust. You can't expect people to just blindly trust you. Even though you know you're the good guy, everyone can say they're the good guy. Talk is so cheap that words are free. And anyone can say anything. And trust and believe the bad guys definitely say they're the good guys because they're the bad guys. Don't trust anyone. Not blindly. Just don't do it. That's self-preservation. You can do this all on your own. You do not have to. You should definitely vet anyone that you're going to invest some trust in. If they're worth their salt, they're going to vet you. Moving on. Also dealing with other people. In this day and age, with our pandemic concerns and all of these airborne, highly contagious ... masks. There's a whole bunch of ways you can do this. I've seen people put doilies over their faces. You are not protecting anyone from your breath. There's holes in there. That negates the whole filtration thing. People who say, I have a medical condition where the masks prevent me from breathing. That is untrue. WebMD that shit. Google that shit. That is absolutely untrue. That is a Karen move. Karens and Kens are real. I've seen them. They're real. And they only want to be right. They hate to be wrong. They have to be right. And when they open their mouth to something, they commit to it because they have to be right, even if they're uninformed. So this brings us to what style of mask? Well, there's three. The best way to do it is to make sure that there is a mask receptacle if it's not just a regular surgical mask, which those are fine. They're inconvenient. They don't stay on very well. I like the ones that tie behind your neck. Ski masks will do it if you have a way to ventilate it. Ski masks are just woven. It's not filtration. Not at a medical level anyway. Not where we need it. There's a reason that the surgical masks block so much air because they're doing their job. There is a more comfortable way to do it, but not much more comfortable. Again, there's no health risks here. I have done my research. Do your research. I have a condition. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's like saying that you have a prescription for marijuana, which I promise that you don't. You absolutely don't. If you have a piece of paper from your doctor, it's a recommendation because no matter what state you live in, doctors adhere to federal law. And federally speaking, marijuana is a Schedule I controlled substance. You know what else is a Schedule I controlled substance? Heroin. Really, Uncle Sam? Is that what you're trying to tell me? That marijuana is just like heroin? That's what you're telling me. Okay, we won't even touch that ball of wax. If you are able to provide appropriate filtration, one more thing must be considered, and this is your interactions with other people. Unless you are a hermit doing the homesteader thing, you absolutely are going to interact with people. Perception is reality, not just for you. Perception is reality for everyone. Everyone's perception becomes their reality. So what they think about what they see is what's real to them. That also applies to you and me. So how you present yourself. I don't mean clean shaven. I'm not talking about that. I'm just being mask specific here. How you choose to present yourself. We're going under the assumption that you've got proper filtration going on underneath whatever you're presenting. Will affect your interactions with other people. Like, say, for example, you had a proper filtration ski mask. You know who else wears ski masks? People who don't want to have their face seen when they walk into a store by the camera. And I promise, if you walk into a store with your full face covered, that is how they're going to look at you because that's their biggest concern. And it's justifiable. Do you guys watch the internet at all? Like, holy crap. Also, don't mess with old people. If you're going to rob a store, don't make it an 80-year-old. They will beat you with their canes. They're not going to take it. They're old school. So what I recommend is something that sticks tight to your cheeks. And if you have facial hair like c'est moi, that it will completely encompass it so that it makes contact with your skin all the way around. This helps the filter have a complete seal. If you allow yourself some space in the front, like let it hang loose off your nose, as long as you still have the complete seal, it's fine. And it will reduce the temperature inside of the mask internally, making it a little more comfortable. Also, how you bridge it on your nose. If you're doing this, you are not covering, that is no filtration because you can just breathe through your nose. And you know what else you can do through your nose? Exhale all these germs that put it over your nose, or don't participate. Don't pretend. That's worse than not participating because you know what you're supposed to do and you just can't be bothered. Stop it. It's not about your safety. Your mask is about everyone else's safety and peace of mind, and that's important. So if you're going to wear a mask, try and make sure that it at least comes down. Like if it's a surgical mask, nothing you can do. There's nothing you need to do. Enough of your face is exposed. If you're going to wear something fuller, like I wear a complete neck wrap with a filtration, it's like a pocket for a proper mask. I make sure that it comes up over my nose. You'll see that there's no way that I can blow air anywhere because it's just snug enough in the back. Remember when I was talking about hair ties? Hair ties are amazing. That's how this thing is staying on. so nicely because this is actually pretty loose, but it comes all the way down to my shirt line, which I can tuck into my shirt. And then I have proper filtration. I'm protecting everyone from any sickies I might have. I'm slightly less, but still effectively protected from somebody else's. Lysol does wonders. You leave a store, spray the outside of your mask. Don't breathe if you don't like the smell. It's a disinfectant. It's fine. But if you leave some of your skin open, you're doing two things. You're allowing yourself to be identifiable, but that's kind of the point. That leads to the second one. If you're allowing yourself to be, we'll call it identifiably vulnerable, you're exposing yourself. You're vulnerable, and people understand that that's a choice, especially if you have something full like I do. I keep the back of the mask under my ears instead of going all the way up where you can see much less of my face. Like, I like beanies. It would be better if I didn't wear a beanie. And then I walked into a store because now I have a lot of my face exposed. You can still see my facial features through my brows and my forehead. You can tell a lot just through my eyes. Do you have to take your hat off when you walk in the store? Well, you know what? I was raised old school, and also I'm a vet. And so the answer to that question in both cases is yes. Watch any mafia movie, watch any soldier. We walk indoors, we remove our effing covers. But how you present yourself is important. If you feel comfortable enough and you see that everyone else is comfortable enough, keep your mask off. Like, do an old school interaction. If you aren't comfortable, put a mask on. Like, it's fine. It's acceptable now. But consider how the other people are going to perceive you. They're not going to see your intentions. They're only going to see the cover. And you can have an effect on what your cover says to other people upon first glance, whether we want to or not, whether we like it or not. We all pass judgments immediately and continuously. That's how we do. It's called discretion and judgment. Like that's where our opinions come from. So remember to have respect. I know I preach about that a lot. Have respect for yourself. Have respect for everyone else. Be respectful. It doesn't mean you have to be submissive. It doesn't mean you have to be friendly. It does mean you have to be polite and civilized. Remember that we're members of society, no matter where we are. Ghetto to the hills. It doesn't matter. We all bleed the same way every time, regardless of every difference. It's always the same because we are too. And with that, I shall leave an update once I make a decision on splitting the next chapter up. I really don't want to do it. I don't know if I have enough of you that watch all these videos to the end. To those of you who made it this far, you know I appreciate you most. This really helps get the word out. Also, if you think anything that you've learned here is helpful, share it. Especially if you know someone that could benefit from it. This is part of helping each other. Questions, comments, put them below. Help each other. You're going to get tired of hearing this long before I get tired of saying it. Help each other. We all know that's what we're supposed to do. If you see someone, you should try. Because they need help. Well, that's, you may not save the world and you may not change it, but you may affect the person who does. That's real. Do the math. That's a reality. And stay safe. Did I mention help each other? Did I mention that?